Well, folks, we're starting to pile up tree limbs to burn in my fire pit. We got a pile of them over there that's going to be burnt. They may not get burnt this evening, but I think I'm going to start on them. And this is where he's been cutting down the tree. He started on it this morning. Got got the two trees cut. There's another one that's leaning up there that looks like it's going to come down, but that other tree is kind of supporting it up. But anyway, we got all this here to move. But he's got the biggest of it cut down to where it's not going to be falling on anybody, and I can get out here and at least mow down the property line without being hit in the head with a tree limb. I'm going to have to trim up some of those that are kind of low for me walking through there, but that's not a big deal. But I tell you, it's been a scorcher today. It stopped raining. There's no rain in the forecast. And unless the plants are in the shade, they're suffering today. I mean, they're starting to kind of wilt down a little bit. I did get some water to these. And along the property line, I put a little bit of water to those in the pots this morning. Or compost tea. It's been getting too hot out here this afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock, so it's a little bit too hot to be out here trying to do that right now. That's going to be a pretty sunflower right there, because that's one of those that branches out, and on every leaf it comes a stem to where it puts out a sunflower. It's going to be a pretty one. And there's my melon. I don't know. I'm not sure which melon that is, but it is a melon of some kind. I guess we'll find out when it puts out a melon. It's got blooms on it, so it won't be long. And you can see here where I had mowed all these weeds and blanket flowers. I had to mow them down because my watermelons are starting to run. Look at that. They're starting to put out runners. They're going to be going all over the yard. And I may have me some watermelons. That's the black diamonds right there. Look at there. There's a little watermelon, y'all. Right there. That's watermelons. Look at that. I got watermelons in there. Watermelon right there. It's putting out a ton of watermelons. I don't know if they're going to survive and make it till they ripen. But look at this. Little watermelons. Those are black diamonds. Oh my goodness, look. Look at that. I didn't see that one. That's about the size of a big egg. But those are my black diamond watermelons right there. They can get up to 30 pounds. But it's full of blooms, and so I should have me some watermelons, y'all. I'm tickled to death over that one right there, because I didn't know it was in there. Another one up in there. It's full of little watermelons. That's why I had to get that grass away from it. It was either put weed barrier cloth down or mow before because in this heat, all the grass and the weeds are going to die off around it. I'll just keep the plant watered to where it'll keep growing and put out watermelons. And see this one? Look at that. And I got morning glory in them. I like morning glory, but I don't want it to take over my plants. I was looking to see if I got any little watermelons here. But this is a different type of watermelon. But it's full of blooms. It's been full of blooms for a while now. And I don't remember where my stake is. Here it is. And it's faded off, I can't tell. can't tell the name on it because it's faded off. But I do know it's a watermelon because that's all I planted out here was watermelon. But I don't see any. I see the blooms where it's starting to make the watermelon, but I don't see any little watermelons. But I'm tickled to death over that black diamond over there. So I know they kind of like being in the shade. They can't handle a lot of this Texas heat. This is a black diamond. A black diamond and another one. I don't remember what the other one was, and the thing is faded, so I can't read it. But I know there's a black diamond and something else. And it's putting out blooms, but I don't know. Don't know about the watermelons. I don't see any. And look at this morning glory. It's everywhere. There, I see my little watermelon vines are starting to run. I said I had to get out here and mow and get rid of all that, so they had some place to grow and not get all tangled up in the bushes, the weeds. Yeah, this should have little watermelons on it. It's got plenty of little blooms. See there? Where you see blooms, I should have watermelon. Yeah, but my handyman is supposed to come back a little bit later when it cools off. He had another job to run to and get an estimate on and see exactly what the woman wanted done. And this one is a black diamond. I thought there was another one in there, but I guess it's just black diamond. But they all need to be watered this afternoon, or I need to put compost tea on them is what I'm going to do. I don't see any watermelon in there, but it's got blooms. So should have some watermelon maybe. This is where the water was standing for a while. Oh look, there's a watermelon. Little bitty watermelon started. If I don't get critters eating them. So I should have me some watermelon. See, I only left a few of the blanket flowers there. And I need to go ahead and cut them down because they've already dropped a bunch of seeds. And see, it gives the watermelon room to grow out here now. And I can actually walk around without tripping over the blanket flowers. But I still need to finish mowing. I still haven't mowed everything. And by the time I finish the whole yard, it'll be time to start over again. Because that out there's grown like crazy since I've mowed. I mean, that Texas heat gets so hot. I mean, look at my poor kale. Look at this. It's just wilted. But it'll pop right back up when it cools off this afternoon. And like I said, I do need to put compost tea to it. And you know, I had dug my potatoes in here. I replanted my onions in this one that Susie sent. Those are yellow onions. I got them tagged back there. And this is the little potatoes. I planted those little potatoes in that. I haven't replanted anything in here yet. It's just got the sunflower with the marigold in her. Even my little banana tree is kind of hot. But it's growing like crazy. My other bucket of potatoes. But they all need to be, you know, they need compost tea right now. My walking stick kale, that's the purple walking stick kale. And the tomato plant that came up voluntarily. And look at that. It does need water. It's suffering, y'all. It's getting too hot on it. Especially after the cool days with all the rain. See the poor tomatoes? These under the shade are doing pretty good. That's why I wanted the tomatoes under here. Because, man, that sun, that hot Texas sun, it just burns stuff up. And look at my turnips over there. They're wilted down. But I don't want to water them right now in the hottest time of the day. I'll wait a couple hours and then I'll put water to them. But see, I need to finish weed eating around this. Around the gas tank. Back here, I've got my weed eater batteries plugged in. And the the morning glory, look at it. It's taken over. But I'll come back here and mow part of this down so it'll block it from coming any further in the yard. But it's growing up the trees everywhere. And I think I'm going to have to pull some of these beans out because these are not the beans that I thought they were. I mean, it's producing a bunch of them, but they're hard. They're hard as rocks. I got the seed mixed up with some I planted last year, and I thought these were them. Well, some of these are not too tough, but some of them are. But I wanted basically all foot-long beans here. This kind, these. That one's already dried up a little bit. And that one. And that's not even a foot-long bean. It's a different type of a green bean. And see, I still got to mow back here. My sunflowers are suffering. They need water today. And there's another walking stick kale. Look how big it's gotten. If I can keep the bugs off of it. And I got walking stick kale in my green stalk tower. My bush beans, they're just about giving up. I mean, I'll keep it watered, but most of them are dying off from the heat. At first, they were getting too much rain, and now they're getting too much sun. It's a shock to their system, and they can't handle it. I mean, they're drowned for a couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden the sun hits them, and they're burning up. But see how they look in the shade? That's why I try to keep my shade out. My shade cloth or keep some of my plants in the shade. See, I'm going to have to move some of these and get them under the shade. And my peppers don't like the hot sun either. So I may move them on the other side over there in the shady area. Those are my purple bell peppers. And there's some more purple bell pepper. And I got a little mashed potato. No, that's a sweet dumpling squash, that little white one. It'll get the green stripes on it when it's ripened. And here's more walking stick kale. But I got to get water to it this evening. And look at my little golden Jubilee cherry tomatoes. They're good. I need to pick them and put them in a salad or eat them with something. Those things are really good. Perfect little tomato. Nothing I like better than to come out here and just pick them off the vine and eat them. And look at that. I need to start picking some of those before the bugs get to them too. Look at this big one. That's a big tomato there, y'all. I think that, and it's starting to turn ripe. Whoops. It's starting to turn ripe. It's getting yellow. My peppers. Look at all my peppers I'm going to have to transplant. Look, the butterfly. All this is suffering from the heat. And there's my little melon. I think it's right. I'll have to come back out here when I water and harvest that before one of the animals eat it. And I never did get around to cutting my okra. Look at that. And I know that's too tough. Some of it's not too tough, but most of it is. But I need to get it cut off of there. Yeah, and see, this suffers here because it's right out in the hot sun all day. This side too. And my basil, the basil don't like the sun. I'm going to have to move that in a shadier spot. I got a couple tomatoes on there. That's a Roma tomato plant. And look at that. My turnips are just dying in there. Got too dry on them. I thought it was rained on them and it kept them alive, but it didn't. I'm going to have to water that. I'll finish walking around the yard showing you stuff, and then I'm going to go ahead and start watering some stuff. Yeah, rain is deceiving, especially when you got it under a shade cloth, because they may not get the rain you think they're getting. And that's surviving, but it's growing over in the shade. Yeah, I'm going to have to take my raspberry bush out of this pot, put it back in the ground to get it to live. Or it'll live, it's just not ever produce any raspberries because it's not in the ground. And I think it really needs sun, more sun than it's getting to produce. There's little Lucky. Don't know where little buddy is. But I got tomato plants out here are not wilting down because they're in the partial shade. So I do need to get out there and water some of those. My perpetual spinach is looking good here. Yeah, I need more stuff put on this side of the yard to keep it in this partial shade. And my lettuce is looking a little bit better since it started coming back out. It's green and not the rusty color. And I got peppers planted in it. What? What do you want? You've already been fed, you and little buddy both. I don't know where little buddy is. Don't know where little buddy is. I think we pretty much decided to call him Lucky. I'm going to step on you if you don't get out from under my feet. But see, those tomato plants are looking good. My cucumbers are looking great. I've got cucumbers in there I need to pick. There's one right there. And it's one of the pickling cucumbers, so it's big enough to pick even though it's a tiny cucumber. They need to be watered. Kitty, you're right under my feet. I'm going to step on you. And I know that'll hurt, but I'm not going to mean to. And there's one there. lays down right at my feet. Well, there was a big one, a big cucumber in here somewhere. Now I don't remember where it was. Oh, here it is. Right there. It's wonky shaped, but it's a good cucumber. Needs to be picked. My yellow squash. See, it does pretty good here in the shaded areas. Lucky, I'm going to step on you. I got to move my feet. I can't walk if you're right there on top of my feet. And look at this. I got little tomatoes on this one. Some of them are starting to turn. They're the golden ones too. I was going to put Lucky, move off of my feet. I can't walk. But I've got jalapenos. Look at that. And I transplanted a couple of eggplant in here where the asparagus is growing. Because the asparagus will come back up next year and produce. The eggplants will die off after this season, so I don't have to worry about them. And look at there, there's eggplant. It's got blooms, so we should have eggplant. There's a tomato. You can see it in there. I can't really tell what I'm showing you. Yeah, you see it down there. And here's this canary yellow melon. I don't know where it's going to go, but I don't want it to go over in there until I can weed eat that morning glory out, because it's going to get all tangled up in it. Look at this. All of this morning glory. I mean, it's a beautiful plant and I love it, but I don't want it in my flowers and my vegetables. And I don't know, this poor thing is trying to die. It's got tons of rainwater. Part of the plant drowned, and now this is trying to come back to life if I can keep enough compost tea on it. And see all the morning glory growing all up the path, so I got to get out here and cut that. Got a tomato there. And I got one in there. So I do have a few tomatoes if my plants don't burn up. And here's my walking onions. I need to take some of these off and plant them in another pot. I can start another pot of walking onions from these little starter sets that are growing on them. That's how you make more walking onions, y'all. Just like this. It's already started to plant. All you got to do is break it off and plant it. That's a little starter right there. And my cucumber vine here with my tomato. Cucumber vine here, and look at the little cucumbers. I got little cucumbers right there. I don't know why they're growing right there together, and there's two more right back behind it. Started. But look at that. I'm trying to put it up above that little cord to where it will grow, but will support it, but it's not going to stay up there. Look at this. It's just all over my feet. Lucky, I gotta walk. I can't just stay in one spot. Yeah, I gotta walk. I don't know where little Buddy is. But see, I transplanted two tomato plants in this pot, and I got a pepper plant in there. This pepper plant is producing jalapenos. You can see it right there. And there's seed there for pepper plants that are coming up. I got one come up here. And this, I'm not sure. This is a Better Boy tomato. It should have big tomatoes on it, like that big one over under the shade cloth. And I transplanted two tomato plants here. They're not looking very good. And a pepper plant there. And I still got to put something in that one back there. Haven't planted anything there yet. This one don't have tomatoes on it yet, but it's putting out some blooms. Pepper plants. And another thing of walking onions. My cucumbers are starting to trellis away from the trellis here instead of going up the trellis. I don't want to go going across the yard. I'll end up cutting them with the mower. See how they're coming out? I want them to go up on the trellis, not across the yard. But I don't guess my trellis is big enough, is it? They latch onto the tree limb up there. I have cucumbers growing in the trees. But yeah, I got several different types of cucumbers all planted here in this little, I call it my cucumber patch. And there's a cucumber. Ooh, something got on my foot. It's biting me. So. I might put the camera down somewhere, and because I need to water those turnips. I really do. Let's see where I can put it. To where I can, because I didn't bring my tripod out here. I need my tripod. It's not much of a place I can put it. Look at there. I need to go get my tripod, and then he's liable to turn it over on me. I don't know if it'll stay up here. Don't know if you can see anything from there. But anyway, that's what I'm fixing to do. I can't handle my plants looking like that. I got my compost tea right here. And I wouldn't be doing this, but it's under the shade cloth. So I think it'll help it a little bit not to have that hot sun just bearing right down on it. See, I don't know where I can put them. Partially shaded. Leave this in here. Might help a little bit. And you can't see nothing of what I'm doing, I know. I just don't know where to put the camera since it's not on the tripod. I know, I'm just going to go get the tripod. I'll take a chance on little Lucky pushing it over. Whew. I moved all my sweet potatoes around here in the shade to put out slips, and I broke this one off this morning and put it in this pot or container so it'll go ahead and root, hopefully. See, you got food and you got water. Little buddy's got food and got water right there. I don't have nothing else for you. Go away. Oh. Yeah, go away. Now I got both tripods in my hand. This little one. Watch out. No, 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 no. Come out of there. Don't want him in the house. Look at that. I'm already sweating like crazy. And I've just been out here for a few minutes, about a half hour. But these things need a little bit of compost tea. Here he comes. Ooh, compost tree is what they need over anything. Ooh. It's already running out of the bucket. But it'll look drier than all get out. me water that one. Whew. It's hot. Hot, hot, y'all. Whew. Well, I guess that's about all I get out of this barrel here. We got to go to this other one. And it's hot out here. Let me move the camera so you can hopefully see what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know if you can see the the barrel I'm going to is right over there. pull some of these onions and plant something else in these pots. Oh man. Some of this kale over here can be pulled up out of these pots, these planters. And I can put something else there. Probably need to move them peppers too. They're getting too hot there. Don't know if you can even see me where I'm at over here. But I'm over at the white buckets now. You see them? Well, yeah, you can barely see them. They're kind of in the middle of the screen. water, y'all. I think I'm going to go here to the other side. I'm going to finish putting a little bit of water in these pink totes and my watermelon. Well, maybe not the watermelon, the banana tree. And then I'm pretty much going to be done for today. I mean, for right now, because it's too hot. It's too hot out here. Water my little onions. There, now where did I get this bucket? Whew. Right here. So, I can't handle any more of this heat for right now. So, can't see what I'm showing you. Okay. I can't handle any more of this heat right now, but I got, for the most part, a little bit of water put to all of this. I think I did. Well, I probably need some more to this. Go get another bucket full. I'll worry about that if I don't. And this is compost tea I'm watering with, so. Wasn't that, it was this over here. But this is some of the, downfalls of gardening in Texas. You get all this rain like through April and May, and then all of a sudden it stops raining and it goes into a drought. And just the fact that it stops raining and the intense sun comes out shocks the plants, and they'll suffer for a while. Some of them may even die, but the ones that survive will probably survive all summer as long as I can keep some water to them. And I didn't make it out here yesterday to put compost tea to them, so I see they were suffering, so I just had to do it today. No questions about it. It had to be done. Because look at that. I didn't even see that my yellow, well, I did not even see that my yellow turnips were all wilted down like that. And I don't know if they'll come back even since I watered them. It still looks dry. And I probably need to put a little bit more water in there. Whew. Let me go just get a little bit more just for my peace of mind. I got a little bit left in this 5-gallon bucket. And I'm going to go ahead and water it with that. That should be sufficient. But if you're growing in north central Texas like I am, right now is when you need shade cloth. You need shade cloth over plants, or you need to have your plants where you can move them under a tree somewhere. You know, hopefully they'll get partial shade, partial sun. That's one reason I started for many years planting on the opposite side of the yard over there, because it was under a lot of trees or close to trees, and they got shaded the hottest time of the day. Whereas over here, they were out in the hot, open sun all day. That's why I decided to put the shade cloth up there on this canopy. Well, I guess there's enough in there now. The bucket is filling up with compost tea down there behind me. Right down there. Whew. Sweat going in my eyes, and it's burning my eyes. But these poor plants, they suffer this time of year, because it went from cooler temperatures and rainy weather. It flipped over to extreme heat and dry weather. So it's a big shock to all these plants. And some of them may even stop producing the hottest time of the summer. But if you'll keep those plants alive, they'll start producing at the end of the summer again for you. I'll go ahead and let that finish dripping in there. And whew, I'm burning up, y'all. I got to get inside where it's cool. I've been out here for about an hour, and this heat's getting to me. So let me go cool off, and I'll see you a little bit later. Bye now. Love y'all.